For the last 2 months, every day from morning to night, I have been on the phone talking with constituents, hearing their trembled voices, listening to their despair. It has been the most emotional and troubling experience. I spoke with a woman whose 58-year-old husband requires a live liver transplant. He is dying. But because that procedure requires the use of 2 ventilators, he cannot get a liver transplant. It was heartbreaking. Really, like, the words cannot describe speaking to her. She had no mechanism to protect or save her loved one. I spoke with another father whose younger daughter had been discovered to have a tumor. But because of COVID, she cannot get the procedure done. Right? It is too dangerous to remove the tumor in a young woman because of COVID. I spoke with a lady, her husband's a roofer, self-employed. And she called me many times, just absolutely overwhelmed. They are going to lose their house. They are going to lose their equipment. They're going to lose their business. They don't qualify for relief. Her husband, through all these confusing and contradictory clauses of the Essential Workplaces Act, is too fearful of going to work because of possible fines. Right? The stories are endless. They're real. They're not in the newspapers, but I'm telling you, they're real. Right? They are the unseen tragedy of what has happened. If I had 12 hours to debate this motion, I could not communicate all of those stories to the people in this House, to the public. A man who had retired and invested his life savings into a new bar and restaurant in Perth. He was meant to open on March 17th, the day we shuttered the hospitality industry. All his pension money, all his savings money, everything that he owns is invested into this restaurant. He has his inventory of beer and spirits. He has his inventory of food. He can't pay his rent. He can't pay his credit lines. He will be bankrupted. The stories, like I said, are heart-wrenching to listen to them. And I'm sure every member in this House has heard similar and equally despairing stories. These are the tragedy, the unseen tragedy of COVID, and they will continue to mount. That's important for us to understand. They will continue to mount, and they are preventable if we are allowed to do our work. If we are allowed to bring concerns and debate and discuss how policies impact people, we can maybe minimize or mitigate some of them, maybe many of them. I think we can. The spirit of collaboration that I've seen from people clearly demonstrates there is a desire, but we have to have their interests also represented in this House. I was not elected to ignore these issues, and we all have the ability to partake in the legislative process. COVID is not over. We've achieved the main objective of not having everyone get sick all at once. We have prevented our healthcare system from being overwhelmed, but it has come at a great cost that is unseen by many. There is work that needs to be done, resolving, correcting, mitigating the many tragedies that this pandemic has exposed is on that list. Remaining locked into a state of emergency impedes and delays our efforts. Let us begin this work without delay, without fear, and without trepidation. Let us lead by example. Thank you, Speaker.